Good morning and welcome to the shed. It's been a while. So I have bought myself a 3D printer and it's not just to play around with, it's for a specific reason which I'll get to a bit later. So I'm going to show you how I set it up. Bearing in mind I'm a complete noob, I know nothing about them really other than what I've seen on YouTube. I also bought this as a repaired return. So it is supposedly tested and working. We'll find out in a minute. And I don't think I've got any instructions either. So it's going to be good fun trying to get it working. Then we're going to try and do a print of my idea, which I've been thinking about for a long time. Couldn't quite justify getting a 3D printer, but I decided I've got to try it and see what happens. So it cost me 110 quid. The one I wanted was 500, but yeah, you know, budget couldn't stretch to that, not just for an experiment. I'm also going to use it for lots of other stuff around the shed, tidying up tools and things. There's lots of good prints that you can do to help you with management of your space. Okay, let's crack on. I'll get it on the bench. So first things first, I need something to sit it on. And this is a bit of old kitchen top. Well, not that old. Let's split there. Yeah, just so it's a stable surface to put things on. And then this is the box. I have opened the box, but I haven't dug in, so I don't really know what I've got. So I've got some filament. I've got a power cord, some more filament. Hopefully I've got some tools and stuff here. Oh. Yeah, so some screws and things there. Oh, I have got an installation guide, that's useful. The other thing I was worried about, which I have got, is an SD card. Okay, can't find a tin, so I've got a box. So that's the first thing, well, let's call it the second thing I'm going to print, is some little screw trays. Okay. A little bit of coffee. And away we go. Okay, so we have a control panel, not quite touch screen. We've got a spool reel. Oh, these are the test prints the guy I bought it from did, just to prove it was working. Yeah, basically he buys returns, presumably from Amazon or somewhere, I don't know, and then gets them going again because the parts are quite easy to come by. Yeah, so that's what he does, and I bought one. So hopefully I haven't bought anything stupid. This will be the main printer. This is the print bed. That is it. Okay, let's get to assembling. Okay, so we have it all built. Wasn't too bad, a bit fiddly with some of the bolts on the side bits. Bearing in mind it was already pre-built, it was just taken down. So we're going to power it up for the first time. let me move you into a position where you can see what's going on. Okay, first time powering up, let's see what happens. Okay, so I've got a display up. I think the first thing you have to do is levelling. I made a schoolboy error. I looped that over the top, didn't realise that that moves with it. Silly me. Okay, try again. Hopefully I haven't cocked it up. Okay, let's try again. Okay, right, here we go. I cleaned the bed with a bit of soapy water and isopropyl, yeah, you know the stuff. And this has a little auto detect widget here which detects the level of the bed at various places and then uses that to make sure that when you start the model it actually puts it onto the plate rather than just in mid-air or tries to go through the plate. From what I can understand, like I say, not an expert. At the moment it says nozzle heating. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know why it's heating up the nozzle. It's going to do some sort of test and I haven't loaded the filament, so this is probably going to fail because there is a tiny bit of filament in the end. Presumably the guy just chopped that off. I don't really want to pull it out, so basically it's just an automatic glue gun, isn't it? It's now just taking reference points across the plate. I don't know if you can see them, but they're popping up on the screen as it does them. And then it compensates for that when it's doing the actual print. Pretty neat, really. Okay, I've got various options here and I don't know what any of them mean. So I'll have to learn as we go. That's just homing in, for example. Okay, well I'm going to go indoors now and prepare the print that I've got. Slightly nervous, but we'll give it a go. I don't know how to load the filament, which probably should work that out before we do that. Trim the filaments at 45 bevel. Okay, I can do that easy enough. Well, it's not quite 45. It's more like it. Now what do I do? I just realised I missed a bit as well. This little cable too. Okay, so I'm actually running the levelling again just because it's the first time I've set it up, the first time I've done it. So I'm going to leave that running and then I'm going to meet you inside and I'll show you the very basic design that I'm going to try and print first. Well, actually this is a slightly more advanced design because I realised I wasn't actually recording. Okay, so this is the text side of the box. Bearing in mind this is a box, this is a mould to make a mould. So this will be filled with silicone, so it actually wants to be not reversed. It's a bit confusing, but you probably get the idea. Anyway, the tablet with the plant name will go in the middle there. It's a standard box with a slight raised bevel around the text label, a couple of pipes where the copper rods will go. Okay, so basically once you've done your work in Tinkercad, which is an online free service, it's pretty good actually, it's fairly basic. We then basically export that to our slicer, and what a slicer does is converts this 3D image into a file that the printer can understand layer by layer. So this is the same model but in the slicer, so you import it into here, click on slice, which you can't see me doing, and then it gives you a sliced version of it. If there's any errors, it lets you know. There's no errors on this one, so I can save that one and export it to my SD card, ready for importing into the printer. Okay, so I've got my SD card. I've plugged it in. Select print. Okay, this is where I show that a few moments later meme. It's about half an hour later. Right, I've now put in my card, I've sliced it, which was the missing bit. There it is. Estimated time 1 hour 57. Filament used 14.2. I don't know if that's meters or grams. Sounds 14 meters, sounds a lot. I'm just going to go for it because I have no idea whether I should be changing anything. So here we go. Oh, hang on. Calibration on. Sounds like a good idea. Confirm. Here we go. I'm going to switch it over to time-lapse because it's going to be a bit boring otherwise. Although you'll just see the head whizzing around. But let's see how we go. Okay, so yeah, I had a few issues getting things set up. I realised that when I did the slice, that I had the bed set as smooth rather than textured, so that's why the first layer wasn't working correctly. But you'll see that once it got over the first layer, it actually started to work quite nicely, and it's still chugging away, and it's written the font. However, I've had some design ideas, so I am going to stop the print in a moment, go and change it. I'm actually going to take out the panel that has the plant name on it and make that a clip-in bit so that I can print the box and then the small little labels individually. Bearing in mind this is only one half of a mould that I'm making, so I've got to do the other side as well. That's another video for another day. So I think we can call that a success. I'll show you the finished article in a minute. I'm just going to stop it and then we will let it cool down. And yes, I'm going to stop it, let it cool down, and then show you the results and see if it's going to be good enough quality. It looks like it should be okay. Might be a bit of tidying up to do. Bearing in mind the idea is that I'm going to do lots of these, so it's got to be a repeatable process. I don't want it to take 4 hours every time. So the idea is I make the case and then make lots of little labels that insert into the case. That's the idea. So I'm going to go back to the drawing board, change my design, and that, I think I'll do that in video 2 because it's getting a bit boring now. Okay, brilliant. I'll stop it and I'll show you the result. Okay, so that's finished printing now. That's the finished result. I don't know if you can see that. A couple of things I've realised is that my little locator lugs, I need to make them slightly smaller. Otherwise I'm going to have a very thick base on the opposite side. They don't need to be that big, so I can reduce those. So I'm going to go back to the drawing board now and take out the middle and do it as 2 separate parts. I might do that in this video. Let's see how I get on. If it's easy, I'll do it quickly now. The other thing I'm not sure about is whether the font is going to be precise enough to make the mould and not show in the lead. It looks like it should be okay, but that could be a problem. Okay, update time. So I'm still here. I reprinted with a separate tablet, I'm going to call it, for the plant name and a box for this to go in. Unfortunately, when I was doing the rejig of my CAD drawing, I set the dimensions of this to the internal dimension of that rather than the external, so I messed up. Also, this is a little bit thin because this was, I don't know if you know anything about CAD drawing, but this was floating in the air, and as soon as I dropped it down onto the plate, it then became too short. So I've got to build that up slightly, increase the dimension of the hole, and then that should clip in. I'm not worried about it fitting exactly because I'm going to be reusing these, so I can just file that slightly just to make sure it fits. It may just clip in, I don't know. I think it probably won't because it'll be exactly the same size. Okay, so I've ordered some new filament because I've running out. So I'm going to come back tomorrow. See you then. Morning. It's a few days later. I've got some new filament. You can tell that I have been messing around, making mistakes. I like to call it prototyping, but I've got to the point where I've got all 4 models made. A couple of them still got errors. For example, this is my mould box. No, that's the wrong one. Yeah. So this is a mould box. That's the rear of the mould, or will be the rear mould, and this is my insert. So when I first did it, it slid straight in, was too tight, so I had to increase the size by 1/2 mil, and now it slides in and locates. So my moulds will all be the same size, so when I press down on the silicone, any excess will pop out there and I'll be left with a uniform mould. Bear in mind, I'm making a mould to make a mould. It gets a bit confusing. So that's pretty much done. Couple of errors on that one, and that's what's reprinting now. I don't know if you can hear that. And also on the main box, if I can find it, this one. So that's it. The insert fits in there fine. That's all good. Had to reduce that by 1/2 mil as well. But on the back side, I've got a load of messed up. I did something in my design where that item was floating and it couldn't actually render it. So that's also queued up to be printed as well. And then we should have all 4 items ready for testing with the silicone, which I need to order. So, I also printed these to show you these. This is a system called Gridify, where you print the boxes, you print these grids, and then you lock your boxes into the grids. Pretty cool. I'll be doing a few of those overnight. I think that's my sort of overnight go-to. So a couple of things I've sort of learned on my journey is, well, I learned quite a bit about the CAD side of things, but I haven't really, I'm not an expert. I'm still using Tinkercad, which is a baby's program really, but it does the job, and I'm only trying to make these molds. I'm not trying to do anything special at the moment, although I'm already getting a bit keen on printing for money. Yeah, so a few things I've learned. First, number one is don't try and print all your models at once. So I sort of thought I was really clever, put them all on one print, and then of course as soon as one messes up, even if it's halfway through, you kind of lost the whole lot, or you let it print, and yeah, it's just, so until you've got your designs ironed out perfectly, print them individually. That's my top tip. Okay, I'll just quickly run you through the bits that I've actually made. The moulds need 4 parts in all to make up our mould boxes. The main box, the front of with the text. I'm calling it the tablet, which has the font. That tablet fits in there. I might have to do a bit of adjustment once I've actually done some silicone moulding. I don't know if you can see that. Obviously that is upside down. So these 2 little bars at the bottom are where my copper rods will go into the label. Bear in mind this is going to be stuck in the ground. It's confusing. And then I've got one of these back plates, what I'm calling the press insert. I can print some more, but obviously I can use one for both. So that fits in there nicely, gives me my press. And then on the back of the mould, which again is the one I'm reprinting at the moment because it wasn't quite right, also the press mould should fit. So I can print a couple of those if I need to. I've got my main mould boxes, and hopefully I shouldn't really need to do that many times. I can do one or two just so that I can do multiples. Same for the front one. But once I've got a perfect edition, I won't need to do those again. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up there, and then on next week's video, or a few days' time, I should have some silicone and we can test these moulds, and then we'll have to probably readjust things. I'm a bit worried about the font, but maybe it'll be okay. Okay, thanks very much for watching. See you soon.